Now, many of you longtime listeners will know that I was the first DJ in the DMV playing Master P, No Limit, Cash Money in this area in the 90s. And so I'm big fans of No Limit Records, big fans of the Miller Boys, the Miller family, Percy Miller, Romeo, and such. And sadly, the last few days, we have seen a lot of this family's personal gripes splashed on social media. A lot of pain, a lot of anger, a lot of hostility that we have seen on full display. And every family has their stuff, right? Every family has uh, problems, right? Every family has problems, and so I don't necessarily think that it's a bad thing when these spats come to surface. Sometimes it takes these public displays for things to really get addressed because you get other people involved that will say, "Hey, you need to talk to your homeboy. You need to talk to your son. You need to talk to your father, XYZ." And these things come about because of the public displays. I mean, I wish that 50 Cent and his oldest could get together. Maybe one day they can. But we've had some artists. We'll get to Bow Wow. We'll get to Bow Wow in a minute. But obviously, we know that DJ Twitch passed away. And there was a post by Romeo, who is the son of Master P, where he calls out, quote unquote, calls out his father for ignoring, according to him, his sister's mental health issues, but speaking out on the struggles of DJ Twitch, who committed suicide last week. So Tatiana Miller, Master P's daughter, Romeo's sister, died in May, the age of 29, accidental fentanyl overdose. So on Friday, son of Master P posted on social media, today was a boiling point. I seen a man avoid his own children's struggle with suicide and depression, but post another man whom passed today that he doesn't even know. Y'all idols be lost. Better stop following the blind. Watch when it's revealed. Yeah, so that was a lot, right? You might have been scrolling social media. And you're like, what is going on with little Romeo? Why is he taking these shots at his father? Why? So you had that happen. And before many folks on social media had time to fully digest it, the next day, Romeo continued to take aim at his father in the form of a poem he posted on IG called The Tree of Trauma. In the caption, he wrote a poem because poetry is one of the most powerful forms of therapy. Let's educate and break these cycles together. Your mental health is just like a muscle that needs to be built and treated, he said. He continued, the next generation will go stronger because of our truths, and a man of God, I know minds will one day. The Tree of Trauma. Now, throughout this poem, Romeo asked a series of questions, including why is it that you can't take the same heat as our mother can? Why do you feel the need to promote and hold a product on every interview just to validate your worth? Don't the people see that? And how come it took my daughter being born to finally realize that we have blindly been feeding the enemy? Oh, there's so much going on here. So much going on here. Now, while I am, I don't have any problem with folks, especially entertainers, public figures, bringing some of this stuff to social media. But there is a limit. Like, I know that there's no limit records, but there is a limit to some of this. Um, and I knew that after a certain point, Master P was going to have to say something. So after Romeo's post about the poem, the cuffs were off, and the two went back and forth in the comment section of Master P's IG. And P said something that I thought was, I didn't have a problem with. He said that this new generation of kids need to stop blaming their parents for everything. How do they think they got to where they are without their parents making sacrifices for them? Mental illness is real, and so many families are tragically affected by it, especially when there is added trauma like the death of a loved one. That is true. That is true. So we're seeing two family members, a father and a son, both of them clearly still in pain, both of them with some issues that they need to work on with each other. Master P said later, son, I love you. Stop trying to get people to feel sorry for you, and let's come up with a solution. You can come talk to your father and your family like a man. You have kids too. No family is perfect, but together with God, we can heal and get through this. But the two continue to go back and forth. P said he wouldn't tolerate disrespect, and um, I think there was a lot of disrespect that was thrown by Romeo. There were some allegations made. There was a lot. There was a lot. Romeo claimed that his father has not been willing to talk about family issues and is addicted to social media. Master P doesn't post that much, but he said he's addicted to social media. He later added that he's never been paid for anything while he was making music under No Limit. And this is the part I really don't like, right? So they're gonna, at least Romeo wants to unpack and pull the lid back and talk about finances. Of course, that led Master P to say this is really about money. I thought this was supposed to be about the death of your sister, about mental health. Now we're talking about money. When it comes to addressing issues with celebrity families, some people think that it's best to address those issues in private, not public. But you're a public figure, and things spill over into the public. And I think that a lot of times these celebrities, these public figures, can their struggles can be teachable moments for all of us. I know that it can be difficult because the camera's always up. People are always going to see, but when you show so much of your life and you say, oh no, I don't want you to see that. I don't want you to see this part. No, I mean, we're going to see it. We're going to see it. I really don't like the feud between 50 Cent and his son. But some problems at a certain point, like I think that you can kind of, especially when you have unpacked a little bit of it and people see, if you're talking behind the scenes, I think that people need to know a little bit. They don't have to know every little detail, but you show them some. So you at least show them when there's a conclusion. But definitely therapy. So they need to sit down and talk. They need to sit down and talk. And I hope that they do. Master P had 9 children. A lot of times we talk about Nick Cannon and the such, but Master P had 9 kids, his own self, right? That's a lot of work that needs to be done. And how and when Master P and Romeo sit down, we may or may not be privy to that, but something tells me we will know. Now, Jermaine Dupri, Jermaine Dupri and Bow Wow have had this weird back and forth, up and down, in and out kind of relationship. But anybody that knows anything knows that Jermaine Dupri was very instrumental in the promotion of Bow Wow. Very instrumental in that. And over the weekend, well, maybe sometime last week, Jermaine Dupri talked about pitching the idea of 106 in Park to BET, and that it was supposed to be a vehicle for Bow Wow, and it was an answer to TRL. All right, so that was a live video show that MTV had, and 106 in Park is the hip hop R&B equivalent. And Jermaine Dupri says that he pitched that idea. And then, whatever it was called, and Bow Wow basically called him a liar, which I think is disrespectful. Now, Bow Wow, he's a little kid at this time, a young teenager or, young adult, and he's not in on all these conversations. So he doesn't know, but very easily somebody of Jermaine Dupri's stature, who he's done this since then, pitched ideas for shows. So Jermaine Dupri says, hey, to someone, at BET, behind the scenes, we need to have a hip hop version of TRL, and let's get Bow Wow to be the host. And they come up with a show, and Bow Wow's not the host, but later on, Bow Wow does become the host, right? They pitch the show. Jermaine Dupri's not involved in the show. They pitch the show. They do the show. So years later, Jermaine Dupri says this: why would you, as Bow Wow, why would you call him a liar? Just because you don't know doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It doesn't mean that. And I don't understand why folks are so acting like what JD is saying is so far-fetched. People pitch shows all the time, and then the networks come and take the show and run with it. Plenty of times this happens. But very similar to Romeo and Master P, Bow Wow, who is at many times in his career called Jermaine Dupri his father, speaking publicly, calling your father a liar, calling the person who put you on a liar publicly, that's crazy. Even if you have an issue with him, publicly calling him a liar, oh man, I don't think there's too many more things that you can do to be more disrespectful. There's not a lot more that you could do to be disrespectful. So the brat who got some hands, right? She kind of checked Bow Wow, challenged him to a fade, told him to pull up. The brat told Bow Wow to pull up because he was talking out the side of his neck about Jermaine Dupri. What is going on in hip hop? What is going on in hip hop? I don't know. I think I got my money on the brat on that one if they was to have a boxing match. I don't know. But definitely just tuning in. It's the Diamond K Show here on fire-tv.com, on fire-tv.com. And we're talking about a lot of the craziness that has been happening. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We're going to come back with more of the show after this.
Look.